In Lesson 1, you have learned about the properties of matter, physical and chemical, as well as intensive and extensive properties. Your understanding of these concepts will be used to determine or learn how the different forms of matter are classified. For our next lesson, we have separating mixtures and pure substances and mixtures in consumer products. So let's begin. Matter can be classified into two types, pure substances and mixtures. Now let's first talk about pure substances. Pure substances can be classified as elements or compounds. An element is the simplest form of matter. Carbon in charcoal and oxygen are two of more than 100 known elements. A compound, on the other hand, is a substance that contains two or more elements chemically combined in a fixed proportion. Hydrogen and oxygen in water are chemically combined, and in any amount of water sample, there are twice as many hydrogen atoms as oxygen atoms. This illustrates that the proportion of hydrogen atoms to oxygen atoms in water is fixed. Another classification of matter are mixtures. So a mixture is a physical blend of two or more components, each of which retains its own identity and properties. Mixtures can be classified as heterogeneous mixtures or as homogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures is a mixture in which the composition is uniform all throughout. It is also known as solution. Examples of these are juices, coffee, or even steel. While heterogeneous mixtures means that the mixture is not uniform all throughout or has varying compositions. Example of these are mixed nuts, granite, or even blood. Differences in physical properties can be used to separate mixtures. There are various ways to separate a mixture depending on the properties of its components. The following are some separation techniques. First, we have filtration. Filtration is a process of separating the components of a suspension. It is good for separating an insoluble solid from a liquid. For example, filtration can be done to separate sand, an insoluble solid, which does not dissolve in water, from a mixture of sand and water mixture. Another separation technique is simple distillation. Simple distillation is good for separating a volatile liquid from non-volatile substances in a solution. For example, water can be separated from a salty water by simple distillation. The water evaporates from the solution but is then cooled and condensed as it passes in a glass tube called a condenser. The condensed liquid is then collected as the distillate. The salt does not evaporate, so it stays behind as residue.
Distillation is a method of obtaining pure liquid from a solution. In this process, the solution is heated so that the liquid evaporates. Let's understand this with an experiment. Take some salt water in a retort and heat the retort till the steam comes out of it. We will see the steam getting collected inside the beaker in the form of droplets of water. The steam condenses and reaches the beaker, and the salt left behind in the retort. This method of separation of soluble solids from liquids is called distillation. Now, let's see how can we separate insoluble solids from liquids with an experiment. To separate the mixture of sand and water by filtration, take a round paper and fold it to make a cone and place it over the flask. Pour water mixed with sand into the funnel. You will observe that clear water will get collected in the beaker and the sand will remain on the filter paper. The pure water collected is called filtrate. This method of purifying water is called filtration.
Another separation technique is evaporation. Evaporation is good for separating a soluble solid from a liquid. For example, copper sulfate crystals can be separated from copper sulfate solution using evaporation. Take note that it is the water, not the solution, that evaporates.
We place 50 ml of water in a beaker and add a small amount of salt of about 10 grams. Then we stir the mixture thoroughly with a glass stirring rod until it becomes completely homogeneous.
Another separation technique is chromatography. Chromatography is good for separating mixtures of dissolved substances that have different colors, such as inks and plant dyes. Some colored substances dissolve in a certain solvent better than others do. So they travel further up the paper through adsorption and capillary action. In our everyday lives, we encountered pure substances and mixtures, starting from the air we breathe to the food that we eat or the products that we use. We will hardly survive without these items, which are often bought for consumption, and some of them are convenience products. Convenience products are those that appeal to a large segment of the market or those that are routinely bought like for household cleaning or personal care products. The most commonly used cleaning products are bleach, soaps, and detergents. These products have different composition, specific uses, precautions for use, and cost. Bleach is a household cleaning product that helps in cleaning and whitening surfaces by generally lowering the stability of chemical bonds in stain molecules. It can convert dirt into particles that can be easily washed away in conjunction with the use of detergent. Sodium hypochlorite and hydrogen peroxide are most common bleaching agents that are strong oxidizers. They can burn the skin and eyes, especially if used in concentrated forms. Another example of household cleaning products are soaps and detergents. So, soaps and detergents are mixtures of surfactants, water softeners, stain removers, enzymes, and perfumes, among others. Surfactants render soaps and detergents capable of lowering the surface tension of water, which allows them to wet the surface to be cleaned. They also loosen and disperse water in soluble solids, making them washable with water. Soaps and detergents are generally not toxic and severely not dangerous, but may cause irritation to the skin and eyes. Mixtures can also be found on personal care products. Personal care products constitute a diverse group of materials that improve the overall appearance of a person. These products are used to generally cleanse and beautify. Examples of highly demanded personal care products are makeup, lotions, and toothpaste. During this time of pandemic due to 2019 novel coronavirus disease or COVID-19, the use of soaps, sanitizers or alcohols, face masks and face shields are extremely important. Household members should educate themselves about COVID-19 symptoms in preventing the spread of COVID-19 in homes. Clean and disinfect high touch surfaces daily in household common areas, including tables, hardback chairs, doorknobs, light switches, phones, tablets, touchscreens, remote controls, keyboards, handles, desks, toilets, and sinks. Transmission of coronavirus occurs much more commonly through respiratory droplets than through objects and surfaces, like doorknobs, countertops, keyboards, toys, etc. Current evidence suggests that COVID-19 may remain viable for hours to days on surfaces made from variety of materials. Cleaning of visibly dirty surfaces, followed by disinfection, is the best practice measure for preventing COVID 19 and other viral respiratory diseases or illnesses in households and community settings. Prevention is always better than cure. Follow the necessary precautions to avoid having the COVID 19 disease. Wear a face mask, wash your hands, cover your mouth and nose, avoid care facilities, practice social distancing, clean and disinfect, stay at home when sick, and maintain healthy habits.